Formula One just gave us one of those Saturdays we'll be talking about for a long time. Lewis Hamilton, in only his second race for Ferrari, returned to the top step of the podium with a clinical win in the sprint race. Oscar Piastri made history by taking his first Grand Prix pole. Verstappen had to settle for P3, and, yes, the Red Bull chaos is heating up. Lawson is practically on thin ice after yet another disaster, and Yuki Tsunoda is already eyeing that seat. Stick with me, because today's video is packed with drama, deep analysis, and honest opinions from someone who follows the paddock closely. Smash that like button, subscribe to Paddock Insider, and let's dive into what might just have been the wildest Saturday of the season so far. What Hamilton did today in Shanghai wasn't just a win, it was a statement. I'm still Lewis Hamilton. He nailed the start, held off Verstappen into turn 1, and from there on controlled the pace like a maestro conducting a symphony. It wasn't just the result, it was the way he managed his tires, while everyone else was struggling for grip. His engineer, Riccardo Adami, called it a masterclass in tire management. While others were losing performance, Hamilton looked like he was racing on another track. Ferrari nailed the setup and Lewis squeezed everything out of the car. And let's not forget, he's only been with Ferrari for just over 3 months. Still learning the systems, the internal language, the entire culture, and he's already winning. After the race, he said, "A lot of people were talking, but they don't know what it's like to switch teams. It's a big challenge." That comment definitely had a target. Maybe the critics, maybe some former teammates. You decide. It was a historic Saturday for Oscar Piastri. For the first time in his F1 career, he took pole for a Grand Prix, and not just with one lap. Both of his Q3 laps were fast enough for P1. He even admitted, "I nearly aborted the second lap. Made a mistake mid-lap, but sent it into the final corners. Found 2/10 and secured pole with pure nerve." What does that show? Calm under pressure, fast decision-making, and confidence at the limit. The kid is developing fast, and with McLaren giving him a stable, competitive car, that first win isn't far off. On the other side, Lando Norris was the first to admit, "Oscar deserved it. I made mistakes, he didn't." Norris has the raw speed, no doubt. But once again, we saw how much he struggles in lower grip conditions, like during the sprint race, where he was constantly complaining about the fronts. Verstappen gave it a go at the start of the sprint, but the pace just wasn't there. After 8 laps, he started dropping off and fell into Piastri's clutches, and Oscar didn't hesitate. The pass was clean and decisive. Max later said, "We just didn't have the pace. I was trying to survive the last few laps." We don't often see Verstappen on the back foot like this. It's a clear sign Red Bull is struggling with the tire degradation on Shanghai's new surface. And worse, they haven't found a reliable setup yet. The P3 result still helps him in the standings. He cut Norris' lead to just 2 points, but make no mistake, this was not the result he wanted. With Piastri on pole and Norris starting P3, McLaren is genuinely in the mix for victory at the Chinese GP. But the big question, can they hold the pace over a full Grand Prix distance? Norris had real tire issues in the sprint, especially with front graining, and spent most of the race complaining about lack of grip. Still, credit to him, he kept his head down and managed to steal a point from Stroll at the end. The team has evolved massively since 2023. Their car is clearly fast in quali, but they still need to prove they can keep it together over race distance. George Russell pulled off a surprise by splitting the McLarens in qualifying. He'll start second. He said it was one of the toughest quali sessions I've ever done and had to throw everything at that final lap. Meanwhile, Leclerc once again flew under the radar, lost a spot to Russell early in the sprint and couldn't fight back, despite multiple attempts late on. It's starting to feel like Leclerc is slowly fading into a number 2 role at Ferrari, while Hamilton takes control of the spotlight. The question now is, can he bounce back, or is he about to spend the season in Hamilton's shadow? Things are getting tense inside Red Bull. Lawson was brought in to replace Perez and help Max in the constructors' fight, but so far it's been a nightmare. Last in both Chinese quali sessions, a crash in Australia, and 0 signs of improvement. Even he admitted, "I'm in a Red Bull. Finishing 14th isn't acceptable." Publicly, the team is still defending him. But internally, word is the Japanese GP in 2 weeks is his deadline. And who's already putting pressure on? Yuki Tsunoda. He finished 6th in the sprint, qualified 9th, and didn't hesitate when asked if he'd take the Red Bull seat. Japan? Yeah, 100%. The car is faster. Honestly, based on performance alone, a driver swap wouldn't be unfair. Here's how the top 10 of the grid looks for Sunday's GP. Piastri, Russell, Norris, Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc, Hajar, Antonelli, Tsunoda. Albon, big shout out to Isaac Hajar in P7. Brilliant from the Racing Bulls rookie. And Kimi Antonelli, another rising star, puts Mercedes in the top 8. The next generation is already arriving. Hamilton didn't quite match his sprint pace in quali, but he's right in the mix. Leclerc, still chasing and under growing pressure. What we witnessed today is exactly why we love Formula One. Think about it. Lewis Hamilton, 40 years old in just his second race for Ferrari, takes a win with absolute style. And on the same day, Oscar Piastri, at the start of his career, delivers 2 pole-worthy laps in Q3 under pressure. That's composure. That's elite-level talent. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen, the reigning giant of F1, had no answer. He dropped off the pace and had to defend, not attack. That alone tells us this season might be way more open than we expected. McLaren is back in the game. Norris is still ironing out his consistency, but the team now has a car capable of fighting at the front. Mercedes is showing signs of life with Russell. And Ferrari is living a paradox. Hamilton is flying, while Leclerc is fading. At the same time, we're seeing the rise of the next generation, Piastri, Hajar, Antonelli, all showing that the future is already here. And then there's the Red Bull headache. Lawson was their chosen one, and now he's looking more like a liability than a solution. Tsunoda is on fire, and the team knows they can't wait much longer. Japan might be the breaking point. All of this on one single Saturday. That says a lot about how intense, unpredictable, and exciting this season is going to be. The established order is shaking. Nothing is guaranteed anymore. And a championship that once looked like Verstappen's to lose might be wide open. Now I want to hear from you. What was your biggest moment of the day? Can Hamilton really fight for the title with Ferrari? Is Piastri already a real threat to the big names? And what would you do with Lawson? Give him more time or call up Tsunoda? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because the Paddock Insider community is growing fast. And this is where we talk F1 with honesty, passion, and depth. If you enjoyed this breakdown, give the video a like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because here, we go beyond the headlines to bring you what's really happening in Formula One. Tomorrow's race is shaping up to be wild. And if it's anything like today, get ready, because this championship is about to catch fire. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.